All right, let's get on to our next topic today. Our second Cavs topic of the day is brought to you by Buckeye State Credit Union. If you're unfamiliar with Buckeye State Credit Union, let me introduce you to the financial friend you didn't know you needed until right now. Buckeye State Credit Union is a local brand offering a wide range of products from checking accounts to home equity lines of credit and auto loans. They have some of the lowest rates around and are committed to serving Northeast Ohio. The Cleveland location is in Shaker Heights, but there are 5 brick-and-mortar locations across the state. Buckeye State Credit Union is here to help make your life easier. They make banking more convenient, always putting the customer first, so you leave feeling cared for, valued, and respected. Connect, simplify, and adapt. Those are the core values that make Buckeye State Credit Union the right choice for you. For more information, head to buckeyecu.org. Buckeye State Credit Union, your money simplified. We started to touch on this at the end of our first Cavs discussion, but Donovan Mitchell suffered an injury that he had previously prior to Game 4, but at halftime, a weird incident happened. Steve, we have the video if you want to take this here full. Donovan going through his pregame shooting routine, and all of a sudden almost collapses over holding a lower body extremity. They called it a left ankle injury. You can see a couple different versions of the highlights here of Donovan from different angles, just going through what seems like a perfectly normal jump stop. And Jason, I'm not an ankle expert. Didn't look like a rolled ankle to me.
No, I never saw it roll. It looks worst case scenario. Now, the fact that he left the arena last night without a boot on, his normal shoe, walking under his own power, all good signs. And wait for the MRI today. He says he's playing tomorrow, and it's not a big deal. Wouldn't really go into great detail. Didn't really do a lot of media last night. Talked to Joe and Chris on his way out of the arena, and that was it. We'll see, but I've maintained it for a week. I think they're playing with fire on this one, and I give him credit for trying to gut through it, but I hope it's not anything calf related.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't mention his calf, right? I mean,
no, they are saying ankle. Yeah, but obviously he's dealing with a lot of stuff.
He's exhausted. He's tired from carrying 4 teammates on his back for large stretches of this series in each game. I think it's a blessing in disguise. I didn't want him out there. Why would you? Why would you put anybody out there? You run the risk of you're not coming back from 41 down. You're not. It's not happening. I don't think it's ever happened in the history of basketball at any level. 41 points. What that tells you is this team isn't just a little bit better than you tonight. They're better at every single aspect of the game. They got another one of their own missed free throw rebounds last night. Again.
I mean, the Cavs are terrible on the offensive glass.
How many rebounds have they in this series? There's 4 of them, the very noteworthy that come to mind. They keep getting their own misses.
They get every 50-50 ball, it feels like.
Every 50-50 ball is won. And so for me,
that's it.
When he doesn't come out and play in the second half, I'm like, good. Let this dude rest up. We've got the most important game that they will ever play was last night. And now it's going to be Game 5. And then it's going to be Game 6. And then it's going to be Game 7 if they can get it that far. They need Donovan Mitchell at 100%. And if that means he takes the half off and gets a little bit better, hopefully the ankle isn't serious. I'm glad he says it's not. Hope the MRI doesn't show anything negative because that's a wrap. If Donovan Mitchell isn't on the floor in Game 5, it's over.
It looked like what he was doing was this. Hey, fellas, I got you. You get me. I had your back. I made sure I delivered what I delivered. I made sure that in Game 2, when y'all didn't play, I made sure I gave everything I had to a point where I put it all on the line that I made sure we stayed in that basketball game. Game 3, when we needed it, and everybody was coming back in ginger a little bit, I made sure I put the team on my back and we got the first world win. What he was expecting was this, the maturity level of one of the other guys to step up, whether it's Evan Mobley or whether it's Jared Allen or Darius Garland, to come to him and say, hey, dog, we understand that you've been putting it on the line. We understand you hurt too. We understand that every single time that you get knocked on the floor, you don't even let nobody else help you up because you're trying to show pride. You trying to show some toughness, like showing I don't need nobody to help me up. This is what we got to do to win these games. And he expects other people to say, listen, you did that. We got you Game 4. Don't even worry about it. Darius, let me go to Evan Mobley. Hey, we got to be aggressive. We got to be on it. Jared Allen said, guys, don't even worry about the rebounds. I got all of them. Hey, Evan, If you're going to have to get 25, let me clean up. I got all the dirty work. I got all the hustle points. We got it, Donovan. We need you to just get us in the fourth quarter, maybe hit a couple of big shots, and we there. Sam, you better be ready to go to shoot. Max, keep giving us what you got. Why is nobody, other people on the team being leaders? I see them sitting on the bench looking around like this, like they saw a deer in headlights. When you look at the Pacers, Miles Turner is amped up. Matherin is playing all kind of mind games. He punching people. Like, yeah, I'm about to punch this dude in the stomach right now. Neesmith is running around here like he's an R&B thug. These dudes everybody is in it. But watch these highlights. Who is showing emotion besides Donovan Mitchell? Let me see somebody.
These are all Donovan highlights, so you won't see anyone else.
But in general, there's not a lot of guys out there that are leading the troops. Every once in a while, DG does.
No, I didn't want you to wait for this video to show someone else.
I know.
This was just Donovan.
But in general, in the series, you're right. Like, who's been the guy that's rallying the troops?
Max Strus.
Strus is playing with great energy and passion.
And energy is free.
Yeah.
It's free, Jason.
It is free.
It's free to get the 50-50 balls, right? You watch these games and
effort.
You watch these games and it comes down to, it looks like whoever comes out and punches somebody first. I was Celtics-Knicks. Celtics came out, punched them right in the face and told them it didn't matter the square. It ain't gonna be one of them games today. Yeah. It ain't that type of show today.
We did that in game 3.
We did it in 3. But it's consistency. You got to give it all the time. And it looked like Donovan didn't have it. So you need somebody else to say, I got it. Don't worry. I'll hold the line. That's it. And we haven't seen it.
I thought they broke their spirit middle of the second quarter. I don't like using the word quit because I don't usually say that. So I'm not going to say that here, but I thought their spirit was broke early in the second quarter. And it really showed up to me on the defensive when you can't close out possessions. So I put in the group chat. Like, I totally expected they're going to come back. They're going to come back. They're going to come back. And then I'm watching, and the Pacers second chance opportunities. Pacers on the glass. Pacers, it's 3-on-1, and the one Pacers getting the rebound or tapping it out to somebody else, and they're chasing down the 50-50 ball. And I'm like, you know what? Never mind. No, they're not. Because when you can't finish possessions, when you're not grabbing rebounds, they're getting beat in transition. They got a miss on the offensive end. They're getting beat in transition on the way back. Then no, you are going to get blown out of this because you at the very least, when you do get a miss, you have to be able to end the possession, and they couldn't even do that last night.
And I want to add on to that, Jason, real quick. Not just possession by possession. All series, the end of quarters, have been horrific.
Yep.
For the Cavaliers.
Runs, they hit threes at the
And I'm
buzzer.
I'm going to make this point that I'm going to look up the stats, and I'll come back in a second to get you the exact numbers. I'm going to look at the final minute of each quarter. I go back to the Miles Turner 3. In Game 2, the pump fake gets Jared Allen.
8-0.
You look at the end of – that was Game 1. In Game 2 –
No, Game 2, they outscored them 8-0 in the last 50 seconds.
Well, yeah, I'm not there yet, though. That's down the road.
That's before
halftime. They were up – I think it was 17. They gave up a 3 to make it 14, and – it was a play that didn't have to happen. The Cavs tried to go 2 for 1, went way too early.
Yep.
And these end of quarters, it's even a bigger picture than the end of possessions because it's, I don't want to say more monumental swings, but at the end of quarters, they've been terrible.
What are they shooting for three? What's their three-point percentage, the Cavs and the Pacers in this series? Because, it's a shooter's league, and we make all these other points about all this stuff. I'm curious. The Pacers are shooting the ball at an absolutely ridiculous clip. And common sense says that can't continue. It can't continue.
Well, to Mike's
but when
point,
it carries over game to game, you're like, well, maybe it can continue.
To Mike's point, the end of the first quarter, like they were taking a punch, but they were in it. End of the first quarter, it was 12. It was 12 in the first quarter, and the next time they guard Ben Shepherd will be the first time they guard Ben Shepherd. They've left him open the entire series, and then Shepherd hits a big 3 on them at the end of the first quarter, and now it's 15. Yeah. And it doesn't sound like much, but that's big. And then it just snowballed them on him again in the second quarter.
I'm going to ask you, because for me, I was waiting for it to click with Evan Mobley. Like, I understand that he can knock down that shot. But, man, there are times when I just want him to get the ball on the block and go to work because I don't think they can guard him. Like, when you see Evan Mobley, his game and his footwork is much better. Where, hey, listen, if the 3-point shots ain't falling, why can't we get and move the ball and let's work inside and try to get some. Miles Turner, this ain't 5 years ago. These guys aren't going to be intimidating down low. I just think sometimes we tend to float.
Well, remember, they scored game one. Well, I think it was game one. They scored 70 points in the paint and lost.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So they have attacked the middle, and they do have a size advantage in this series. And I think they have it. I'm not throw yesterday out. I'm not talking about yesterday. But at times, I think that they have exploited that to their benefit in the series. But it just, obviously, it has been enough. That Jared Allen line is stunning.
That's why I asked to see it again early in the show. I would bet everything I own that he couldn't put a line like that, unless he gets hurt in the first 3 minutes.
Right.
That was a 20-minute line.
Yeah.
0 for 1 from the flip. How's this guy take one shot?
2 rebounds, one shot.
1 shot in 20 minutes? Was he out? Was he mad and he was out to make a point?
No.
Was he making a statement? Like, what? Were you even there? Was that somebody that put on a wig and a sweatband and went and had an imposter? 42% for the Pacers, 30% for the Cavs. Three-point percentage.
When things go bad for him, they just tend to snowball. Like, if other guys are scoring, you see his shoulders sulk. Then he stops catching the ball on pick and rolls, like, the little pocket pass. He starts fumbling those. He starts, when he's confident, the teardrop starts going in. He's like, okay, that's cool. But when it goes bad, it goes bad. And I think you got to think about it like this:
one shot,
to me, the Ty Jerome thing is baffling. Like, it is baffling to me.
He's stealing a lot of guys' shots.
That he has been that bad.
Yeah, I know.
He has been potently bad.
But that goes to show you the speed of the game and how much it changes when the playoffs hit.
It ramps up.
And with every round, it ramps up, and he is getting just absolutely power washed by it.
It just looks like three. And then Dean Wade, Dean,
I know.
Him and I. Look, can we at least say this? Can we at least look at? I'd rather let me develop Jalen Tyson. Like, let me see Craig Porter Jr. or something. Like, because at some point in time. I won't even say Monty Bates because people will go crazy. But at some point in time, the thing with Isaac Okoro and Dean Wade, we have to understand it is what it is, right?
That's right.
Like, it's been the same thing. Like, when Dean Wade
we keep waiting for it to change.
When he gets the basketball, I'm holding my breath, and I know it's not going in. And Isaac Okoro, I know and especially Isaac Okoro with the baby throw, I know it's definitely not going in. And he had 13 points. Like I said, anything after halftime don't count.
A lot of those numbers don't mean much.
We can have this conversation later. They have some decisions to make. If the season ends soon, they've got some hard decisions to make because we talk second apron and everything else. We don't have the numbers yet. I don't know how far into the second apron they're going to be until the league sets the cap and until Evan's contract is set with DPOY and all that stuff. But you might have to make it. Maybe moving Dean gets you out of the second apron, moving him into a team with space. Isaac, I don't know you're going to find a taker for his $11 million deal.
No, you probably won't.
But those are the two that I would look at. Like, because I keep saying they're a second apron team because they are.
Yeah.
If there's a way to get out of the second apron, they may have to explore moving Dean. But, I feel weird saying that because all year long I championed them.
They were great in the regular season.
But this is 3 years now of Dean in the postseason. And I said it after the first game this year against Miami. I'm like, I just don't think he's got the stomach for playoff basketball. And some guys are like that. It's just it's a different game. Playoff basketball is totally different than the regular season.
And those two guys are the poster children for that.
And
Jerome
and Ty's showing you that too.
Jerome is wow, it's stunning. His drop off because the big question all year was what we asked about David Fry last year. How long can this dude keep doing this?
Yeah.
When does it strike midnight?
Yep.
And he kept pushing midnight back, and midnight came when the playoffs began.
No, he was fine in Miami.
But
he's good against Miami.
That's a 10 seed.
In game one,
once you get against a team that is conference finals last year and they're well coached.
Yeah, game one against Indy, I think he had 20 and 8, and I remember looking at the stat line going, I can't believe he had 20 and 8.
Well,
I didn't think he played that well.
He took 20 shots.
He took 20 shots.
I mean, that's how he did it.
And then he's been off the cliff ever since.
Let me ask you this question because you'll know more than I guess the rest of us. If they do, and granted, I keep saying if. This 3-1, we didn't see 3-1. I'm not going to jump off the cliff until they get put out. So anyway, if they do lose 4-1 in this series, and game, what is it, 5 or game 6 looks more, or game 5 looks more like game 4.
Yeah.
How will the Cavs front office psychologically couch this?
I don't know. And it goes back to what I was just saying. Like, I think you have to wait and see what the numbers look like. If you're a second apron team, you can't make any moves. Like, because I saw something yesterday about swing big and go get Giannis or something, like trade Jarrett and Darius and bring Giannis in here. I'm like, you can't do that. Like, that's not realistic. You can't, as a second apron team. That is an illegal trade. You cannot make that trade.
That's how they stopped all the bigness. The big threes, they said, no.
Yeah,
you can't make this illegal deals anymore.
The league is actively working to disband any sort of big three. They don't want that anymore. And the Cavs theoretically have four big, whatever you want to call it. And the league is actively trying to stamp that stuff out. So you could sit here and say, well, they're going to have to trade somebody. It's a lot harder to do that than what it sounds. I mean, which one are you going to trade? Jarrett's making $20 million. Darius is making 38, 39-ish, somewhere in there. You can't aggregate salaries. You can't take back more. So you got to trade them 1-for-1 for another player making right around that same money. That's not a very big market of guys. And frankly, I don't know. Like last year, we said Darius's trade value was suppressed last year because he was coming off a terrible year and he had a monster contract. And this year, he had a great year during the regular season. But I'm telling you, the way that this toe injury has been handled has been discussed around the league, and I don't know what his market then would look like coming off that this summer.
Because I want to say this about the toe thing. When you watch Darius Garland, right, and I think he's gutting it out, and I think that when you watch this toe injury, the toe injury could be more serious than what people think. If you think about Darius Garland, his game is predicated on him being able to blow by people.
Yes.
Stop, start,
quick.
And quick.
Yes.
And the thing that's concerning is when he keeps running and falling under his own weight, and it's not even anybody touching him, that shows me something is wrong with his ability in that toe.
Well, you lose feeling.
Yeah, I don't think you can
and that's
feel
how
it.
you fall.
Yeah.
That's how you fall down.
They probably shot it up and it's numb and you can't feel it.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I wouldn't be surprised if – I don't think he's enthused about playing. I don't think he wants to be there, and he thinks the team is slightly forcing him in this point to do it.
Well,
I just watch his demeanor.
And I didn't really make a big deal about it until it was like, hey, sit Miami. Yeah, for sure, sit those games. Indy, sit till you lose. It's just they wound up losing a lot sooner than I think anyone anticipated them losing game 1. But then when it gets to 2, I mean, Stephen A. went out there, and Stephen A's a lot bigger than I am. Stephen A. went out there and said, limp your ass out there. It's time to go.
And he was not wrong.
And after 2 weeks, I heard, I can't remember, somebody was saying, well, he's going to have to play with a carbon fiber insert. Okay. He's not the first guy that's had to play with a carbon fiber insert. This, with the crown comes a lot of expectations. Ooh. Heavy is the crown. And when you want the contract and you want the accolades and you want to be a franchise pillar and you want to be a leader, this is the crappy part that comes with that. I have no question he is in an incredible amount of pain. There's no doubt in my mind. This sucks. And it sucks that it happened at this time of year. It sucks he's got to go through this. Donovan's dragging one leg up and down the floor. Evan couldn't even bear weight on. It sucks that all of this has fallen on them at the worst possible time. And, if you're the Cavs, you look at this and say, we did everything we could to protect these guys, to limit the minutes, to try and we picked games before the season even started and said, we're going to sit these guys at these points to try and load management this thing. And it didn't matter because it still all went up in smoke at the worst possible time. And the flip side of that is that's the NBA, that's life. You have to play through this stuff sometimes. And it's not fair. It ain't fair. But life ain't fair.
But it happens to Cleveland a lot.
It does.
Real quick around the horn before we talk Guardians. If Donovan can't go in Game 5, do they have any chance of winning?
It's over. It's 100% over.
Do they have any chance of winning? Yeah. Are they going to? No, I won't pick them.
I say they have no chance of winning without Donovan.
No, I don't think it's zero.
It would be.
But I wouldn't pick them.
They were down by 41 at halftime with him on the floor yesterday.
You would have to see Evan Mobley become something that we haven't seen, and that is, they can't. He's Kevin Durant today.
Well, we talked.
A badass Kevin Durant.
that plays
Tough
defense.
Kevin Durant.
It's funny you say that because last week I don't think either one of you guys were here. Bull and I were talking about that, and I think Tyvus was in, and I said, Evan has to be the guy who.
It was me, you, and Bull on Wednesday.
Okay, well, is that what we're talking about? Where I said,
Yeah.
and Bull said, what does it look like for Evan? I said, it looks like 42 minutes, 33 points, and 18 rebounds. That's what he has to do. Where he has to, and this is where because Donovan is undersized, he is.
Yeah.
That dude squeezes every ounce of everything he's got
He's a
out
bad
of him.
dude.
That dunk through the lane that he had, that was insane.
But when you are an undersized guard, it is. He played 36 minutes. And he's totally exhausted and gassed, 36, 37 minutes, whatever it was. That's a high number of minutes, but it's not. We've seen guys play an entire game before.
Yeah.
Caleb Bridges played 51.
And that's not a criticism of Don. I'm not saying it's a criticism. I'm saying it as the guy is only capable of so much physically, and that's why size matters in this league, and that's why it's so hard to win when undersized guards are your best players. We've been saying that for years. Yeah. So it's on a dude like Evan to play 42, 43 minutes, to score 32, 33, 34 points, make 4 threes, 5 threes, grab 18 rebounds, be an absolute monster on the defensive end, and take this entire franchise to a win.
He's not ready for
That's
that.
what it would take.
He's not ready for
This
that
is crazy, and you have it after this. That is how I think they couch it. I think if they lose 4 games to 1 or whatever this sweep, they go to Evan Mobley and say, you took a step this year, you defensive player of the year, but for us to be great, you have to be the best player. You have to be a guy that can get to a point where you can get 40 just like he can and still play that level of defense. And I think if Evan Mobley is Durant with defense, then we don't care what Donovan.
Then all bets are off.
Then we can do what you want.
At the start of the playoffs, and I was wrong. At the start of the playoffs, I said I think when we look back on this run, no matter when it ends, this will be Evans coming out to where he became the best player or the most important player, and that hasn't happened. This is still very much a team that Donovan is dragging as far as he can, and I give him all the credit in the world for what he's tried to do, for what he's been able to do. Again, I don't want to make it sound like I'm knocking him. He's only capable of doing so much. He's not a top 3 all-time player in this league. He's not a top 3 player in this game today.
No,
frankly.
But there are moments where he looks like one.
But for what he's capable of doing.
For a game or 30 minutes or 10 minutes.
What he is able to accomplish, what he's been able to do in this series on one leg, I have nothing but respect and admiration for what he has given to this franchise.
I think he's won a lot of respect, and I think there are guys in the organization that have lost some respect in this playoff run.
Well, when you couple it with the last couple as well, the last couple of years is 3 in a row.
And again, a tiger can't change its stripe. And, what we said to Bull is really the poster child for this. I don't care about the regular season anymore. I don't care. And we all got caught up in it because it was exciting.
Well, it's going to be – next year will be a tough sell for them.
Oh, you aren't kidding.
Because, this year –
I'm afraid we turn into the Atlanta Braves from the 90s.
This year, you had the evolution of Evan, and they were so good and ripping off such long winning streaks.
We all got excited.
Even the most jaded, hardened Bulls of the world were like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yep.
And then if it flames out again like this.
At the same level.
And that's why, going back to your question, what do they do from a front office perspective? What do you do with this roster? It's a really, really tough spot to be in because if you're staying the second apron, it really hamstrings what you can and can't do. Okay, do we move out of the second apron? Well, now you've got to move on from guys who you thought were going to be not like core 4 pieces,
right? But pieces,
important pieces to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
And now you're having some really hard conversations that I don't think you were anticipating having 3 months ago.
The good news is the teams across the league are having those same conversations. It's just difficult for them. And we've already heard the Celtics have already, they're
breaking up.
Celtics are breaking up the band. So there could be a massive opening in the East next year. Well, they've talked about how they got it. Players are going. Sold the team. New owner came out and said it's going to be different next year.
Yeah, and we've talked about it all year. Where their payroll is, again, with some of these restrictions and everything and the penalties and everything else, it's exorbitant. Like, it's untenable.
Their luxury tax bill, if they brought everyone back, just the luxury, not what they're paying, $600 million just for
Can't do it.
All right, then, fellas, we gotta go.
So
Guardians lose 2 or 3.
But real quick, that's why That's why I said earlier, if you're the Cavs, you just have to wait out Boston. You just have to wait them out.
Yeah.